and welcome back to my blog. We're on to part 3, Sophisms of the Protectionists by the late M. Frederick Bastiat. Part 1, Sophisms of Protection, first series, and the introduction. My object in this little volume has been to refute some of the arguments usually advanced against free trade. I am not seeking a combat with the protectionists. I merely advance a principle which I am anxious to present clearly to the minds of sincere men who hesitate because they doubt. I am not of the number of those who maintain that protection is supported by interests. I believe that it is founded upon errors, or, if you will, upon incomplete truths. Too many fear free trade for this apprehension to be other than sincere. My aspirations are perhaps high, but I confess that it would give me pleasure to hope that this little work might become, as it were, a manual for such men as may be called upon to decide between the two principles. When one has not made oneself perfectly familiar with the doctrines of free trade, the sophisms of protection perpetually return to the mind under one form or another. And on each occasion, in order to counteract their effect, it is necessary to enter into a long and laborious analysis. Few, and least of all legislators, have leisure for this labor, which I would, on this account, wish to present clearly drawn up to their hand. But it may be said, are then the benefits of free trade so hidden as to be perceptible only to economists by profession? Yes, we confess it. Our adversaries in the discussion have a signal advantage over us. They can, in a few words, present an incomplete truth, which, for us to show that it is incomplete, renders necessary long and uninteresting dissertations. This results from the fact that protection accumulates upon a single point the good which it effects, while the evil inflicted is infused throughout the mass. The one strikes the eye at a first glance, while the other becomes perceptible only to close investigation. With regard to free trade, precisely the reverse is the case. It is thus with almost all questions of political economy. If you say, for instance, there is a machine which has turned out of employment 30 workmen, or again, there is a spendthrift who encourages every kind of industry, or the conquest of Algiers has doubled the commerce of Marseille. Or once more, the public taxes support 100,000 families. You are understood at once. Your propositions are clear, simple, and true in themselves. If you deduce from them the principle that machines are an evil, that sumptuous extravagance, conquest, and heavy imposts are blessings, your theory will have the more success because you will be able to base it upon indisputable facts. But we, for our part, cannot stop at a cause and its immediate effect, for we know that this effect may in its turn become itself a cause. To judge of a measure, it is necessary that we should follow it from step to step, from result to result, until through the successive links of the chain of events we arrive at the final effect. We must, in short, reason. But here we are assailed by clamorous exclamations. You are theorists, metaphysicians, ideologists, utopians, men of maxims, and immediately all the prejudices of the public are against us. What then shall we do? We must invoke the patience and candor of the reader, giving to our deductions, if we are capable of it, sufficient clearness to throw forward at once, without disguise or palliation, the true and the false, in order, once for all, to determine whether the victory should be for restriction or free trade. I wish here to make a remark of some importance. Some extracts from this volume have appeared in the Journal des Économistes. In an article otherwise complimentary, published by the Viscount de Romanée, see Moniteur Industriel of the 15th and 18th of May, 1845, he intimates that I ask for the suppression of custom houses. Mr. de Romanée is mistaken. I ask for the suppression of the protective policy. We do not dispute the right of government to impose taxes, but would, if possible, dissuade producers from taxing one another. It was said by Napoleon that duty should never be a fiscal instrument, but a means of protecting industry. We plead the contrary and say that duties should never be made an instrument of reciprocal rapine, but that they may be employed as a useful fiscal machine. I am so far from asking for the suppression of duties that I look upon them as the anchor on which the future salvation of our finances will depend. I believe that they may bring immense receipts into the Treasury, and, to give my entire and undisguised opinion, I am inclined, from the slow progress of healthy economical doctrines and from the magnitude of our budget, to hope more for the cause of commercial reform from the necessities of the Treasury than from the force of an enlightened public opinion. That's the end of the introduction. More tomorrow. Make it a great day, and bye for now.